I love to kayak in New Brunswick, just as much as I love the view from my cabin deck. If only I could combine the two.
And what sold me on this property in the first place is the ocean. Except the problem has always been there's no path down there. Anytime I have to go down, I have to bushwhack, and that's why I could never bring the kayak. There's no trail. Now I want to make a trail, and I've surveyed the area, and I think the best path is right here. Let me walk it for you. Let's start here and go right through this way. This part's the challenge because there's a very steep slope and I'm almost going in it right here, so gonna have to build up this area, but it does clear a little. I love this old tree. It's an old white pine. It's been here for generations. The roots have kept these rocks here, and so there's a little bit of a pathway. Unfortunately, after this tree, it's a jungle. Now this is the challenging part right here, or should I say the most challenging? It's all challenging as far as I'm concerned, because there's this depression here, this pit of roots and logs and rocks and everything. So I'm gonna have to build this up just to get through the last part, which is a bank. And the bank doesn't look like it's gonna be much fun either. If I can get to it, I'll show you. I made it. Mostly marsh grasses and a few slippery rocks. I gotta be careful. But this gets me to the water's edge. It's about 3/4 of a tide. The tide will probably come up to about here, but right now I can still walk the shoreline. I love this rock. Look at the seaweed. Bladderwort, I think. Because this is not a lake. This is seawater. And the tide's going to be coming up here soon. And when the tide is at high tide, this rock is actually submerged. But most of the time when I kayak, it'll probably be a little lower. I mean, ideally, this would be a perfect docking station for the kayak. You know, if the water came up to about here, I just push off the rock, paddle away, and I'm gone. It's a really, really wonderful location. I can feel like it's getting cool. It's in the fall, but this rock has been in the sun all day. It's like I'm on a heating pad. It's just so wonderful. The challenge, however, is just that last little bit, because once I get out of those trees, there's a bank of about, probably 10 to 12 feet. So I'm going to have to build some stairs to get down there. But once I'm down in amongst the grasses, I'm on the shore. It's perfect. And I mean, I just love this spot. This is beautiful. Smell the ocean breeze, hear the waves. Paradise.
And let's not forget that wonderful natural occurrence, the changing of the tide. Man's fascination with the sea is primal. In its rage, it's to be feared, but when at peace, it soothes the soul. Sitting on its shores is therapy. But first, I gotta get through this.
Now to get a path through there, I'm going to have to get rid of some of these small trees because they're right in the way. And I could just hack them off at the base, but that would leave the roots. And it would be a challenge to remove the roots because they're in between rocks. What I'd rather do is grab a hold of them and rip them out with the roots. Now if I could get the truck down here, which I can't, I'd just hook a rope to the truck and pull them out. But I'm going to have to come up with another way of ripping these out. Okay, what I'm using is a hand winch, the same one that I used to pull the back of the cabin down when I was renovating. And it's roped to that same cedar tree I used before. Across the path, it's that tree right over there that's wiggling that I'm trying to pull. See if it works.
Now any lumberjack knows that a sharp axe cuts the best. I, however, chose a dull one. I guess I felt I needed more exercise.
Oh, come on. Oh, that was a lot of roots. Didn't go as easy as I'd hoped it would, but I did get it out.
After clearing out the saplings and trimming a few branches, the next step was clearing the path. If I could find it, seems it was buried under debris.
Well, I've cleared the trees out and got a lot of the debris off the ground just to see what's under there. And it doesn't look good. It's not firm soil at all. And there's lots of roots and it's not exactly flat. And rocks. And I think rocks are going to be my next problem because I don't want any tripping hazards. And right here, right under here is a big massive boulder and I'd like to move it. Now it would be easy for me to just roll it down the hill, but I'd like to keep it. I'd actually like it to be on that side, but I don't know if it's gonna go. Worth a try. Oh boy, it's a big one. Doesn't pay to be skinny sometimes. Don't have a lot of weight. Oh. No, I'm gonna have to put something underneath it to keep it from bouncing back, I think. Like another rock. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, boy. Well, moving that rock was a bigger challenge than I thought it was. It took me, I think, about an hour and a half. I should have done a time lapse because it was a real slow crawl getting it over there, and my back is kind of hurting, but it's there now. That clears this way. Now there's, whoop, I don't want to fall back here. I think this part here is going to be pretty straightforward, but it's down there that's going to be the real challenge. It's a lot more of a slope, and there's lots more trees. Okay, well, I just had to clear an area just so I could get through here. There you go. So many fallen down trees and logs everywhere.
It was now time for the power tools. Whoa! Yeah, it needs proper stairs, but that's where they'll be. That gets me to the shoreline. Now I just got to work out all the technical details to this.
From a lower perspective, I can see there's a bump here, there's a rise, and that's going to give me a few problems. I can't keep it on that gradual incline if it's going to drop like this. I think what I've got to do is I've got to dig down here, because here it's a real slope. You can't go down here without sliding or falling. When it gets down to about here, it levels off again. So it's just this area here. I'm gonna have to dig out, get rid of some rocks, and hopefully I can make it a little bit more equal and easier to navigate.
A shovel would be useless here. I needed a pickaxe to get through the obstructions.
Oh, darn roots.
And when I speed the video up a bit, you don't hear the swearing. Well, I now have a path to the water, but I still can't use it. And it's pretty obvious right now as to why I can't. It's been raining a few days, and what was dirt is now slippery mud. And there's no way I'm gonna be walking down here with a kayak. What I need are steps, especially in this area, but even worse is that middle part where it has more of a slope. And of course I need the steps on that final part right down at the bottom where it goes right into the shoreline. Now there's many things against me right now, and the first one is I actually thought I would have this done in August. It is now the end of November, and it is getting colder. The days are going to be below freezing, as well as the nights. The ground's going to freeze, and it's going to get covered in snow. I really don't know if I'm going to get it done this season, but I'm still going to try. Now this particular area is the most picturesque, and there is a little bit of a clearing here. I would really like to have a platform here. That way I can stow my kayak here and not bring it all the way up to the top. And it's also a phenomenal view. I think just to sit up here and have a coffee in the morning, it's just beautiful. But that makes things a little complicated because I originally expected I'd be putting steps all up and down this section, which I still have to do. But if I'm going to put a platform here, I'm going to have a riser, because the platform would probably go up to this height, and then there's going to be that drop. So I'm going to have to put, larger steps here, like a staircase, and then go back down to just gradual steps. Okay, I've got a plan. It's getting there. However, I'm not going to start at the top. I'm not going to start in the middle. I have to start at the bottom.
Whoa. A little steep here, but this is where I have to start with the stairs. And my extension ladder I need for other projects, so I can't use this. I need to build proper stairs, especially to get up to this level here. Now the bottom where the extension ladder is now is the absolute highest the tide's ever going to be. And although I really don't think whatever I build is going to float away, I still have to anchor it properly. So the first thing I have to do is build up some kind of foundation, probably with cement and rocks and whatever I could find, and then put the two sides in, and then build up the steps. Now I could use conventional lumber. I can go and buy some, or you remember those trees that all fell down like almost a year ago? Well, I still have some of those, and I think they make a perfect ladder. So I now have a plan, I've cleared a path, and my next step is construction. Please tune in for part 2 to find out if my kayak trail is my stairway to heaven or if it ends up a highway to hell.